Hello there. Today, June 8th, 2025, 1 week before the 250th anniversary of the Battle of Bunker Hill, by the way, I went to Hillside Cemetery in Goffstown where they were dedicating new markers at the graves of 6 people that actually fought at the Battle of Bunker Hill. It's a pretty amazing cemetery, actually. There's I think 50 people buried there that fought for the American Revolution. And I've got my application in for the Sons of the American Revolution in as we speak. So I have already met a bunch of the guys in the group. In fact, I was with some of them yesterday. We were rolling the powder so they can shoot the powder with the muskets today. It was pretty cool. Maybe I'll show some B-roll right now as I'm talking. And then I think what I'll do is I'm just going to read the bio of each of the 6 soldiers that the Patriots that they honored today, and then maybe I'll have a few closing comments at the end. So up first we have Private Samuel Annis. Samuel was born around 1745 in Boston, Mass. to Samuel Annis Sr. and Mary Humble. Samuel married Sarah Stevens on June 1st, 1767 in Hampstead, New Hampshire, and had 6 children. Samuel was a farmer by trade and moved to Goffstown after purchasing land from John Hadley in 1773. He enlisted on April 23, 1775. He was in Captain Samuel Richardson's company and marched to Medford, Massachusetts, where the company was formed with Colonel Stark's regiment. Samuel also enlisted in Captain John Parker's company of Colonel Bedell's regiment on August 2, 1775, and saw action at the Siege of St. John, on the Soar River, Lake Champlain, and the Canada Expedition. He was mustered out on October 10, 1775. Next up, we have First Lieutenant Moses Little. Moses was born on August 3, 1742 in Hampstead, New Hampshire, to George Little and Mary Kimball. He married Mary Stevens on October 6, 1761, and moved to Goffstown in 1767. In 1773, Moses served as a selectman. He enlisted on April 23, 1775. On the 23rd of April, Lieutenant Moses Little and Lieutenant Jesse C.A.R., with a company of 53 men, 37 of whom were from Goffstown, marched from Medford and remained in the service until the 10th of August. Moses was a first lieutenant in the 9th Company of Stark's regiment. In August of 1778, Moses served under Captain James Aiken's company, Colonel Moses Kelly's regiment, who served under General Sullivan at Newport, Rhode Island. From 1791 to 1794, Moses served as town treasurer. Moses was a justice of the peace. In 1784 and 1789, he was a member of the First Baptist Society organized in 1792. He resided on the road leading south from Shirley Station. Up next, we have Private Jonathan Bell. Jonathan was born April 23, 1755 in Pelham, New Hampshire, to William Bell and Abigail Kittredge. He married Deborah Butterfield on December 25th, 1781, Christmas Day. He enlisted on April 23, 1775. He was in Captain Richard's company at Bunker Hill and later with General Stark at the Battle of Bennington. On the alarm of July 1, 1777, Jonathan was part of Captain John Duncan's company under the command of Lieutenant Moses Kelly, which went from Goffstown to Ticonderoga and marched as far as Charlestown. In August 1778, Jonathan served under Captain James Aiken's company, Colonel Moses Kelly's regiment, who served under General Sullivan at Newport, Rhode Island. At the dedication of the Bunker Hill Monument on June 17, 1843, he attended the exercises, and the Boston Courier of June 16, 1843 speaks of him as Fellows Jonathan Bell of Goffstown accompanied the stark grounds of Manchester to Boston, Mass., and looked in as good health and condition as the youngest soldier in the Corps. He was in his 89th year of his age, and with one exception, the only representative of New Hampshire present at the dedication of the monument who was a participant in the battle. Jonathan Bell died June 10, 1844. Next up, we have Captain Peter Butterfield. Peter was born December 22, 1754 in Goffstown, New Hampshire, to John Butterfield and Phoebe Russell. He first married Hannah Guy on October 1st, 1776. And after Hannah's death in 1803, he married Rachel Greer, on August 19th, 1810. He enlisted on August 23rd, 1775. He was part of Captain Richard's company, which marched from Goffstown on April 23rd, now formed a part of Colonel Stark's regiment at Medford. In August of 1778, Peter served under Captain James Aiken's company, Colonel Moses Kelly's regiment, who served under General Sullivan at Newport, Rhode Island. He is known to be a strong, resolute man, possessed of great power and physical endurance. That's according to the history of Goffstown. Peter Butterfield died October 22nd, 1838 in Goffstown, New Hampshire. Next up, we have Private John Little. John was born August 12th, 1752 in Plastown, New Hampshire to Joseph Little and Elizabeth Ingalls. He first married Margaret Stevens, who died in 1786, and later married Sarah Chase. He enlisted on April 23rd, 1775. He was part of Captain Richard's company, which marched from Goffstown on April 23rd, now formed a part of Colonel Stark's regiment at Medford. He was a selectman in 1771 and a town moderator in 1765 and 1768. On the alarm of July 1st, 1777, John was part of Captain John Duncan's company under the command of Lieutenant Moses Kelly, which went from Goffstown to Ticonderoga and marched as far as Charlestown. John was a farmer and resided on Shirley Hill, known as Caleb Little Farm. John was part of the Congregational Church. And last but not least, we have Private John Buswell. John was born July 28, 1761 in Bradford, Mass. to Joseph Buswell and Sarah Amy. He married Judith Johnson on April 15, 1786 in Goffstown. According to the roster of New Hampshire soldiers in the Battle of Bunker Hill, John was a private and served on Captain Daniel Moore's company and Colonel John Stark's regiment. John Buswell died May 19, 1793. So obviously for me, that was quite an honor to be there with these august gentlemen, doing the yeoman's service to honor the patriots of this country. So I'm not trying to steal anybody's thunder. I'm just a kind of guy who sometimes I see history in the making or being honored, and I like to videotape it, throw it up on the internet, and it just kind of preserves it. So right now, I'm just going to end with a slideshow of the pictures and maybe some of the other video that I, B-roll that I shot, and just drop some music to it and then fade out from there. So hope you enjoy it, and thanks for watching.